Hey everybody, I'm back today with another spread in my memory planner. I'm going to be using the Cocoa Daisy Doodles and Dashes kit. This is the September kit. I have a stack of stamps, um, and I am working on the first week in September. So I'm just going to get everything organized on my products. For the September kits, I did order a couple of extra sticker sheets, and I'm just going to kind of go through everything. This is the first spread I'm doing using the Doodles and Dashes kit, so I'm not super familiar with it. I have used it to plan in my planner, though, so I have a good idea of what's in there. This week doesn't have as many photos in it as a lot of weeks you generally do. So we have a couple of large blocks of space in my planner to fill. And what I'm going to do is, instead of doing my regular size blocks with my punch, I'm going to cut some blocks longer and wider so I can play with some space, and I have a little more room to create, I guess, would be the way to describe it for this particular week. That's not always the case, but for this week, I didn't have as many photos as usual. So I do also have these two photos here that, without a story, do not make sense. So I want to make sure I have a nice big journaling block there on Tuesday. As always, I use my Cocoa Daisy kit first to plan in my functional planner. And then I use it to do my memory planner pages for that month. And then I use it to scrapbook some regular scrapbook layouts with it. And I always have enough that I can do all of that. And I just get one kit. So these kits are really big. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now, and I have that large block set aside for my journaling. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one in half. Cocoa Daisy papers they're like folded in half. They're double-sided papers. I think they're just folded in half to help like with shipping, but they're beautiful papers. They're nice and thick and really pretty. Next, I'm going to go ahead and punch a couple of these patterns to kind of fill in some spaces. I think I'm going to like my album next year more. I already bought my album for next year. It's the same layout. It's the same Happy Planner type of layout, but it's dated and it's not a memory planner. So it doesn't have those like all that extra writing and decor like already on it, which I think I'm going to really enjoy more, not having those blocks because I don't use them for anything. So I'm just taking a look at what else I want to do, where else I need paper. So I always kind of go in the same order of things. Paper, or pictures go in first, then paper, then things like labels or large journaling blocks, and then from there I can go ahead and do my journaling and then decor. So I don't want to waste any of this. See, I actually got a square out of that like teeny tiny little strip right there. If you are considering memory planning, if that's something that interests you, when you purchase your planner, I would always say that the only tool you really need is that paper punch. That thing comes in handy. It's so easy. Makes life so much easier. Another really great tip is that, especially if you have a large stash of scrapbooking product hanging around like I do, go ahead and start shopping around for a big memory planner now and get yourself a cheap one. I spent $12 on this memory planner, and I spent less than $20 on my memory planner that I'm going to use for next year. You can get, you know, an undated one or a dated one. You can get an 18-month one and then just pull out the 6 months worth of pages you're not going to use. There's lots of ways to make the initial book very affordable. I decided to continue on with these large blocks here because, again, not a lot of, this was a quiet week, so I don't have a ton of photos. And I have a couple blocks of journaling, but nothing really. The biggest block of journaling is that one on Tuesday to explain and tell the story of why people are sending me Uncle Ben's rice boxes and Kleenex tissue boxes. Now that I have all of my pattern paper filled in, I'm just going to flick through these stickers and decide which ones I want to use today. I'm going to go ahead and use a bunch of the labels to denote my plans. And then I'm also going to do a good amount of stamping. So I'm just going through my ink swatches and picking out what inks I want to stamp with, inks that match this collection. I'm going to go ahead and go with Sauna ink, and I'm also going to use some Midnight ink. I chose these two colors because this Doodles and Dashes collection does have a lot of black and white elements in it. There are a lot of black and white, like sketchy flowers and doodles and things. And then Sauna was a perfect match to the yellow that is in the kit. I'm going to go ahead and pull my Misty out so I get nice, crisp, clean impressions. Sometimes these larger label stamps from LA Studios need a little more pressure, and they work better in my Misty than if I try to free range stamp them. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp a couple of these label stamps for some areas of my planner. I have a couple things to annotate that are going to need a little more room than one of just the thin little label stickers that come in the kit. And so that's what I use these LA Studio label stamps for. And now I can go ahead and kind of just add all of these pieces to my page and all the little areas I want to write on. And then I'm going to go ahead and add all of these labels that I stamped to my planner as well and get them onto the page. I just fussy cut them out. I still have them on my wish list, but I haven't bought the label dies yet from LA Studio, and I have both sets of label stamps. I think it's because they're just super easy to just trim out, so I don't need to really get the dies right. No. So once I have all of these labels fussy cut out, I can go ahead and pop them onto my page, and then I can grab my pen and I can go ahead and write all of my plans that occurred this week and all of the journaling that I want to do for this week. I have been one of the kind of hidden gems that you get every month with the Cocoa Daisy Planner Kit is a pen. And man, those pens are fabulous. They also come with extra ink on the inside, which is great because you do run out of ink with them fairly quickly, but you get refills. But it's like smooth as butter. Those pens write so good. I love them. I'm going to add some of this beautiful, pretty floral washi tape to my page. I'm just going to use a pen knife from my stash. Pen knives are not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but they do work really well for just kind of scoring washi tape. And I do like them for that application in my planner. But otherwise, they are not very sharp. They don't really, they're not as good as an X-Acto knife by far. But they do have a purpose, and I do use them in my craft room. Okay, so I have all my journaling down that I want, and now I'm going to play with my stamps. So I always kind of start my memory planning session by looking at my photos and then going through my stamps and finding as many stamps as I can to fit my photos. and I have a bunch of them for this week. My stamps that I use in my memory planner come from a couple of the same places. Generally, they are Kelly stamps or they are Paper Person stamps. Those are my favorites, and those are the ones that I absolutely positively use the most. So the movie/TV stamp that I'm working with now is one from Kelly Stamps. And then the next one that I'm going to pull up here is from the Paper Person. And I'm just going to stamp the word weekend across that chunk or that block of pattern paper that I have there. And this one is also from the Paper Person. This one I think is called Next Episode. And it's all about TV shows and new series and things like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and use some of my letter stickers. These come in the planner kit too. These weren't any kind of extras that I purchased. And then I am using this stamp set from Journals of Life. I love to mix and match my stamp sets onto my memory planner spreads, and I'm going to use this one that says road trip, and then I just used my letter stickers to go road trip home. So most of the reason that this particular week doesn't have a lot of photos is because this was the week after Labor Day weekend, and I had gone to my brother's, and so when I came home, as is generally the case, I need to have a couple of days of downtime to rest after all the traveling. And so we drove home Monday, so Monday was just driving. And then the rest of the week was kind of getting the house together, back together again, getting laundry done, kind of organizing where I was with my videos because I hadn't created for close to a week before So, and that's where we're going to call this spread done. I hope that you have been enjoying these memory planner videos. I know I really enjoy sharing them with you. Oh yes, Young Frankenstein. That was another thing we did this week. We introduced my youngest son to Young Frankenstein. And I will talk to you all again very, very soon. Bye.